Hey, Death Battle just dropped a trailer for Season 10 and everyone's talking about it, so let's get right into that. In case you're wondering, no, I'm not making this video so soon to get more views. I'm really interested in this trailer, and I think it's really cool. And I'll say it now because I don't think I've seen enough people say it. The editing in this trailer is really nice. I think the music works well, it syncs great. The little snippets of the reality weirdos just fucking with the show before the season even starts is very charming. I think it's got a lot of character to it that before we've even gotten the season proper, Bill and Discord are already fucking with it. And Ant-Man vs. Adam looks really nice from what we've seen. I think the 3 shots we got are pretty cool. The shrinking looks nice. The sense of scale from them falling and just like the background is really well done. They're integrated really well. And I like that it's starting with them just in a science area. Like, that fits perfectly to me. I quite like how the backgrounds look. It seems like they'll get the right sense of scale that I'm looking for, as I said a moment ago. I think what we got, just ignoring the speculation just as a trailer, is really nice. I don't know who edited it. I think I can guess who edited it. And they've done a fantastic job. This is a really good trailer, and I don't think enough people are giving it the credit it deserves as just a trailer. At least in the Discord circles. I think in the comments I saw plenty of people saying it was a really cool and hype trailer. But I'll give it that respect, and I think everyone should. I think it's really well done. Anyway, now we get into tinfoiling time. This is where the fun begins. But let's start with this. To anyone who's writing down everything I say just so that at the end of the year they can come back and say, actually, you got this wrong, idiot, I'm an intellectual and by not guessing I somehow have proven my superior intelligence. Please shut up and get a life, because this is all just fun speculations. Obviously, inherently, I don't know every matchup ever, I don't know everything the Death Battle team might know, because I wouldn't make this video because I just reveal everything. And obviously, I don't know what they're aware of and what they're interested in beyond what they've said. And even then, I've not watched every Death Battle cast, because I'm too busy half the time. This is just going to be for fun. So let's start. In terms of the on-screen text stuff, yeah, they show clips in the text, but I don't think they're referring to anything in particular. I think the first 2 are for Dragonborn versus Chosen Undead, I believe. I can't see much of what's going on here, but it feels right. I think I see snow and fire. The second 2, obviously, are Bill and Discord. You see Bill's eye, you see Discord in the background, that's pretty clear, and they both snap. That was a terrible snap I just did with my fingers. I can't snap today. They both do a little snap. Wiz is shown with some stock footage of a guy playing chess. I don't know if that has much meaning, might just be to show that he's smart. And I have no idea what Boomstick's text is. Frankly, it kind of looks like nonsense to me. My computer also isn't exactly working at full power right now, so I can't even see this at proper quality. This could be teasing chess versus checkers, I'll say that much. That would be very funny. Ringmaster and Dummy show lightning, and I think just outright a clip of Alex for Colex. And Jocelyn and Name Not Found are atomic particles and ants, so that's me thinking personally. I believe that this montage might be hinting towards Ant-Man vs. Adam. Anyway, the real talking point is this. This is a cipher, which when Decoded says this shit. But it's the little symbols everyone's talking about, and that's what I want to focus on, because they're really interesting to me. There's 16 of them, likely representing each of the episodes in the season, that really has people talking. So, let's do just that. Let's talk about them. I think for a start, let's knock out what I think are the 4 episodes so far confirmed for Season 10. The Atom, that's obviously Ant-Man vs. Adam. Crossing Swords, Last Dragonborn vs. Chosen Undead, most likely. The question mark, I think, is going to be Bill vs. Discord, because it kind of just fits the vibe. I nearly said Bill vs. Cipher right there. And either the Scales or the Taiji II, I believe, would be Cole versus Alex. The morality system of each game is a big part of their mechanics, and the Scales represent that in terms of, like, oscillating morality, and the Taiji II represents the good and bad at the same time, so both of those work. But for the Taiji II and the Scales, I'm going to just talk about them anyway, and just pretend like Colex doesn't exist to see what they could be. But let's get to it then, because this is the fun part. We'll go clockwise. Going past the question mark, we get to the dollar sign. This obviously is Greed versus Blue Stripe Shiny Basculin. No. The dollar sign is kind of a hard one to think about, because it could mean any number of things. The cynical side is that it is a cape shit episode, because those make money, but I don't think that Death Battle would be that uncreative and cynical towards themselves, and I don't think that's what it means. It likely refers to an episode where being greedy, or being rich is a main theme. So I guess it's not that it means any number of things, that it could mean one of 2 things, generally, and they kind of interlink. The obvious one that comes to mind is Scrooge McDuck versus Mr. Krabs, which definitely is possible. There's kind of part of me that hopes it's not. I kind of want something else. Not that I dislike the matchup, I have no strong opinion on it, but I feel like I'm missing something. This just feels like the kind of matchup, like, or the symbol feels like it's one where I'm missing something important. Hey, it could just be a matchup involving characters who weaponize gold or gemstones, or it could be Green Goblin versus Joker, because they do have a lot of money, even if Joker's is often underspoken. I will stick with Scrooge versus Mr. Krabs, but I don't feel super certain on it. Hell, maybe it's King Arthur versus Gilgamesh, because canonically in both of their mythos, they are the richest characters that ever existed. Next, we get some kind of Lotus Symbol. Very Doctor Strange-ish, honestly, but it's probably not him unless Death Battle do something like Strange Supreme versus Nox. Overall, to me, this looks like a floral pattern with a triquetra inside, which is a common symbol found in Celtic and Germanic runestones and writings, as well as seen sometimes in Buddhist text. Does that mean anything? Probably not, but maybe you learned something from that. I don't really know what it could be, so Anne versus the character whose name I can't pronounce is possible, or Liu Kang versus the character whose name I don't want to say is possible, because Liu Kang is of the White Lotus faction. Honestly, I don't know what this could be. I kind of feel like this is one of the ones that'll make a ton of sense when the episode's announced, and I'll slap myself over not getting it. So I'll just throw Liu Kang versus the protagonist of Killer Instinct at it and call it a day because I'm lazy. Following that is a Skull and Crossbones. I hope this is as obvious as it seems and represents a pirate episode. There are 4 options I see. Jack Sparrow versus Indiana Jones, which is possible due to the upcoming Indiana Jones film. Escanor versus Whitebeard, or Luffy versus Naruto, which are possible because One Piece is popping off right now and everyone's talking about it. Or Cervantes versus Spinal, which on reflection is probably the least likely, but I want Soul Calibur on Death Battle again, goddammit. Frankly, I'm not sure, but I do think it's one of these 4. Alternatively, the symbol could be for a poison-themed matchup, as this sort of symbol is fairly commonly associated with poisonous chemicals. That said, I have no idea what poison-themed matchups are even that popular or likely. It could also be presenting a skeleton episode, which Cervantes versus Spinal would fit perfectly, but I mean, I know Cervantes isn't a skeleton, but he's a pirate. Pirates have this sort of symbol. But who knows? I'm sticking with pirates, and I'm guessing Escanor versus Whitebeard or Indiana Jones versus Jack Sparrow, with the other 2 being ones that would not surprise me at all. Then we have a star, and I feel like almost certainly this is the Joestar birthmark, which to me says we're getting a JoJo episode, and to me, that's Joker versus Giorno, which, you know, you do you, I guess. I've also seen Sailor Moon versus Pegasus Seiya thrown around for this, or Han Solo versus Captain Kirk / Star-Lord, but I think neither of those really makes as much sense for this symbol as Joker versus Giorno. We could get another JoJo, of course, we could get Jolene against someone, or whatever Joseph matchup they decide on, but I'm gonna stick with Joker versus Giorno for this one. I feel like that's most likely, especially because this is Season 10, that's a hugely requested matchup, and I kinda wanna see the world burn a little bit. After that, we have the recycling symbol, and I'm refusing to acknowledge this as anything other than a Captain Planet episode. I just can't get over how much I want that. Captain Planet has a lot of, honestly, really bad jokes made about him throughout the series. There's like 1 or 2 that I actually liked. This Season 10, finally bringing him in could be good. Me personally, I love Captain Planet versus the Toxic Avenger or the Magic School Bus. Those both just make me lose my shit. But if it's Aang to call back to that one episode they never made, that would also make sense, like they're recycling an old idea. I'm not really sure who else it could be that they choose, but I'm very hopeful it's Captain Planet. It could, on the other hand, be a rematch episode because they're recycling a previous idea, so Master Chief versus Doomslayer is possible. Or it could just be one returning character, but that sounds lame. I'm checking in Captain Planet out of the vain hope that he's fighting Toxie, but I'm just going to say it's a Captain Planet episode, but I'm not sure who he's going to fight. Scales. Now, the obvious one that is beyond the morality mechanic of Alex and Cole is that the scales represent justice, which it's Judge Dredd versus the Punisher, isn't it? As much as I'd absolutely prefer Dredd versus Robocop, it's gonna be Punisher if they do him, and Dredd on Death Battle would be cool at least. Other than that, it could be a, as much as I hate to say it, it could be Phoenix Wright versus Makoto Naegi, which I would not want, but that is always there. Or maybe it's gonna be James Hetfield versus Dave Mustaine. No, then that's stupid. Then there's Black and White. This looks like a moon phase, I guess. But I'm on copium. It's Monokuma versus Koro Sensei. Then we have the Taiji II. I think if this isn't Cole versus Alex, which it totally could be, it could also represent either Darth Vader versus Obito or Splinter versus Shifu. I'm going with Vader Obito, honestly, because I don't get what I want most of the time. For Splinter vs. Shifu, it's because the Taiji II is an important element in, I think both series have used it quite a lot, because they are very Asian-inspired. You know, one Chinese, one Japanese inspired, and that sort of fits in. But I feel like in terms of, I feel it's probably going to be Cole Alex, but it could also easily be Vader Obito. and Cole Alex could be the scales or even the Beaker chemical, that's we're gonna see later. Man in a suit. Now the obvious one that people talk about is Kira versus Adachi, which, yeah, I mean, that's possible. I hope I'm pronouncing Adachi right. I actually know what, I don't care. I hope I'm pronouncing it wrong, so the people who get pissed off at me for mispronouncing a character I don't know can get pissed off again. But I feel like it'd be weird if there were 2 episodes in one season that were JoJo's versus Persona. I say that knowing that one of these is likely another Marvel DC other than Ant-Man Atom, and I'm just missing which one it is. Of course, Joker vs. Giorno could end up not happening in favor of the star being Sailor Moon versus Pegasus Seiya, but I kind of think it's almost certainly Joker Giorno. When it comes to Men in a Suit, there's a lot of options. We could get Spy vs. 47, but that seems unlikely given we just had that on the ballot and it lost. It could be Spy vs. Sombra, which I'm going to say it is to annoy Biff. Hope you're enjoying the video, mate. Or it could be not a literal suit, but rather like a super suit, so perhaps a Blue Beetle episode or something. No, they would just put a beetle on there if it was. Or, and this is my favorite possibility, this could represent a Gundam mobile suit. So maybe Char Aznable versus Lelouch, or Wing Zero versus Ava Unit 1, which I'm not certain what this could be, but my favorite would be if it's a Gundam mobile suit, because that would be fucking cool. Or I could inhale more copium and say it's Miles Edgeworth versus Byakuya Togami, but Death Battle don't have the balls. I'm just gonna say it's Wing Zero versus Ava 01 and leave it at that because it has the least caveats to it. Then there's the Pentagram. To me, there's 3 paths this could take. This is maybe my favorite, or one of my favorite in this, because there's a lot you could interpret it as. This could be a Ghost Rider episode, a John Constantine episode, or a Devil May Cry episode. So with that, let's discuss. The most likely to me is Ghost Rider versus Spawn. Like, it has connections both between each other and both to Hell. It's a legacy matchup. It's still hugely popular. And other options for Ghost Rider, that it could be the Demi Fiend from Shin Megami Tensei, which is pretty lame to me as a matchup. And yeah, I have played Shin Megami Tensei 3. It's a great game. It's a bit slow and archaic, but I kind of like the archaicness of it. The Demi Fiend is just boring to me. It could be Etrigan. It will not be Etrigan. I mean, this could be Etrigan versus Devilman, but I doubt it. The DC character that I know they've wanted on the show for a while and would connect best to this symbol is John Constantine. And I'm going to try and teach myself to pronounce his name the way it's pronounced in the comic, but forgive me if I fall back into calling him Constantine. As for him, Raido Kuzunoa is definitely the one that fits this symbol the best. In fact, this symbol is kind of perfect for Constantine versus Raido, like, easily. It could also be Constantine versus the Doctor. That would be really cool too. That's my preferred, but I still love Constantine versus Raido. And finally, if it's Devil May Cry, it's Nero versus Hellboy. I'm not certain on any of these, but I'll lock in Ghost Rider versus Spawn and say that all the other options I think are also fairly likely, except Devilman versus Etrigan. Then there's a Beaker with a ring around it. I've seen almost nobody talk about this, except that it could also be Alex versus Cole, in which case, that's kinda lame. Personally, I have no idea, I don't know, but I'm just gonna say Mysterio versus Scarecrow because chemicals for fear toxin, and let other people choke on copium. Or it's Jimmy versus Dexter, that'd be neat. Or I could say that the chemicals represent Destroyer and the ring represents like a turtle shell like Iris and give myself copium, but my most wanted episode is not happening. We're not getting Destroyer versus Iris. The penultimate symbol is water. Everyone's saying it, they think it's Kyogre versus Chaos, and honestly, I can totally see it being that. I don't really know what else it could be, so I'm just gonna say that it's Kyogre versus Chaos. I know how to pronounce Kyogre, I just think it's funny calling him Kyogre. Or it's a joke on shockwaves, because it is a wave specifically, and we get Piccolo versus Martian Manhunter, because water is the opposite of Manhunter's weakness. And finally, the shuffle symbol. Now the obvious one people have brought up is Ash versus Yugi, because you shuffle your deck in card games. That's not impossible, but I feel like it's a weird choice. A card would have been better. From a literal sense, I don't know what else this could be, and I don't know what it could be from a it's literally arrows sense, unless it's Medusa versus Orochimaru, because look at her powers. Or it could be meta, like they took an episode they didn't do from a previous season and threw it in, like Rogue Squadron versus Star Fox, which would kind of fit the physical design of the shuffle symbol too, with how they fly around. It could be that. It could also be representing randomness, as a shuffle feature is meant to replicate a feeling of randomness and make things out of order, meaning that the shuffle symbol could in fact be Bill Cipher versus Discord, and the question mark is actually something else. A Riddler matchup, Light versus Columbo, Phoenix Wright versus Makoto Naegi, there's a lot of options that open up when you consider that possibility. That said, I'm going to stick to the question mark being Bill versus Discord because it feels less tinfoily, and say that the shuffle is just Ash versus Yugi or Rogue Squadron versus... I'm going to go Rogue Squadron versus Star Fox, because at least I'll have a different looking Cipher at the end to everyone else. And that is your lot. I'm just gonna slot my picks in here. Do I think this is an accurate prediction of the season? No, not at all. I think that some of my predictions that aren't here, or I think that some of my other predictions that aren't the ones I locked in at the very end could also be accurate instead of my final choices. And obviously, I could have gone some wrong. I could be completely off base, completely just going the wrong direction. My year-long streak of accurately predicting Death Battle was bound to end someday, and that day is probably the day. Look, I'm not going to complain if I'm wrong at any point here. This was fun to speculate and discuss, and I had a good time talking about the possibilities, both in Discord and just by myself thinking about what they could be. Not all these matchups are ones that are my preferred, or even ones that I like, so it's not going to be me complaining if some of those are wrong. And if you're wondering, I did kind of avoid talking about the text and the ciphers, because I did kind of want to leave that one up to you guys, because they're a bit cryptic, and leave it to the comments to discuss how it might connect to certain things. Go game that algorithm for me. Plus, I mean, my copium would make me think end will come from what begins is Destroy versus Iris, so I kind of have to avoid these ciphers, so I'm going to die of copium. That was all. Tell me what you guys think below, and I hope you all have a great day.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I haven't done an end card like this in a while. I hope it's not too obvious to tell that I'm not in the cheeriest of moods. I hope you guys enjoyed the video though. It was a lot of fun to make. It was a lot of fun to speculate and think. Definitely some episodes that I've guessed wrong, some that I've just completely missed the mark, some that maybe I've got a character right, but the matchup's wrong. I don't know. That's certainly possible. Yeah, there's not really much to say. If you guys enjoyed this video, maybe you could consider supporting me on Patreon, and thank you to the wonderful people who have scrolling by right now. It's always a big help when people do. Yeah, I've been trying to get back on my feet from the naughty virus knocking me out for a while, so hopefully the 2 videos a week will be back on track for the majority of the year, the way it was last year and the year before that and the year before that. We'll see, guys. And yeah, if you join my Patreon, you can get access to the Patreon-only Discord, where you can make me say stupid shit, of which there has been a lot of stupid shit that people have added since last I did this that I haven't used. So let's just take a look at what there is, and I'll do some.
No! Springtrap does have island level feats! You're just not seeing it right!
This is quite frankly the worst episode of Death Battle ever made, and everyone involved should be ashamed of themselves. I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10.
Yes, I fucked your mother. What is it with you women anyway? I fucked my...
If my son had a son, would he be the third? No, he would not, because my son's name is Deckhead and not Deck Reich. So the Reich is not a last name. It would be the second Reich or the second head.
Thank you for calling Domino's Pizza. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. How may we take your order?
I am Nemesis, commander of the Blood Reich. Little known fact, also dope as a Reich. Fucking hell, Biff. Oh. Alright, jeez, Lois. This is worse than the time I beat up Kylo Ren or No Death. That wasn't... I'm usually so much better at a Peter impression than that. Okay, no, not really. Peter impression, that's who Anne's thing. I really feel like doing this one, like, as Kyber and Yugi. So I'm gonna do it as Kyber and Yugi.
Yugi, my boyfriend has been playing Crab Champions all night. What the fuck, man? It's like Pokemon Go, but with gay sex. Actually, it's nothing like Pokemon Go at all.
You're really getting your mileage out this, huh? No, I'm not. That also wasn't meant for me, but I thought I'd say it anyway. Why the fuck not? Alright, everyone in the Discord, next time I do one of these, I'll actually let you guys know, because there won't be a backlog of shit. There was a lot of stuff I just didn't want to read out. But, I mean, maybe you can make me read out something really stupid. If you go, give me money. So we all agree that Greed versus Blue Stripe Shiny Bicycle should definitely happen for Season 10,